And you know what? In addition to that, human history has basically just been a series of reoccurring cycles where fucking people spread out and be fruitful and multiply. They fucking run around going wherever, trying to eke out a life, dealing with whatever environmental changes they encounter so they can adapt to it and try to survive, make uh, shelter, food, water, etc., and so forth for themselves, so they can keep going, make a family. Maybe eventually, if they're not completely fucking worthless, and the environment is favorable to their conditions for a while, make a small society where they're running around doing things. But then eventually, everybody has to eventually fuck it up in some way because some jackass has to come and decide that they know better than everybody else and that they should fucking be the one that controls everybody else, and then they enforce it by paying off whatever tough guys they can find around to confiscate everything they can from everybody else, take everything they can from everybody else, force everyone else to do everything that they can, just until typically until they die or somebody fucking finally rises up and cuts off their goddamn head as is absolutely necessary in order to fucking even come close to living something even approaching a fucking decent life. And that just keeps happening and happening and happening. Take the U.S. for example. Now, a bunch of Europeans came over from Europe and went to the New World, started colonizing and settling in America, getting in little fights with one another and little fights with the Indian nations that they met here. Eventually, they create the 13 states and revolt against the stupid, useless, worthless dog shit fucking parent country that they came from uh, in the guise of Great Britain. Took the Enlightenment ideas that Great Britain was trying to embody by a government of by and for the people, and actually put it into place under Locke's guise after they did revolt and kick off those stupid fucking piece of shit worthless Brits, and try to make a government where the states work together to avoid trying to control one another so that you can live your life and not have to fucking work and do everything that you can in order to go give everything that you can to whatever stupid, worthless jackass that decides that they want to be the one that controls everything else and gets enough resources to pay off a bunch of other stupid, worthless jackasses to enforce their their view or guidance of the world. The founders decided that that was a fucking bunch of dumb shit, so they're going to make a confederation of those 13 states and make a free country. And since humans aren't perfect and never expect anything to be perfect, that nothing nothing on this planet is going to be perfect anyway, much less things that humans make. But the point is, at least if they're trying to make it not worthless dog shit where they can just control everybody else and then just put upon everybody else to make it so everyone else's life is shitty, so that the people that are in charge can just feel like they can control something and then gather more resources than everybody else and live an easier life, and then I don't know, fucking give it to their family or whatever. They were doing that more or less for a while. At least they were generally trying to operate on the assumption that they're not supposed to be able to control everything. They're just supposed to be able to control the few things that only a government can control, and the things that you need in order to make a functioning society. But and so they did that for a while with fucking problems here, problems there. It's the usual thing. Everything since the general nature of the universe itself is basically just to via entropy strain out all of the energy and make it the same general energetic base level. And on this planet, it seems to work the same way. Just nature itself seems to be just constantly decaying everything, and anything that humans or any other life form really does, all it really does, is it keeps putting some kind of energy from the environment into it just to delay or stop the decaying, or to rebuild something on top of what it has decayed. America was doing okay with that for a little while, but then eventually we just became weak. And I'll say this specifically: our fucking ancestors in 1913 became a bunch of weak, stupid, useless pussy faggots, and decided that it would be a good idea to authorize the government to make a whole bunch of new departments, to make the Federal Reserve, to levy taxes, to change the way that the Senate is made. The Senate is elected so that it's no longer an internal struggle between the House and the Senate versus the judiciary versus the executive. Now they can all work together to collude to fucking pull as much money out of their ass as they want, to do whatever thing they want, which basically on the other end just means they end up fucking making a bunch of money, spending it away that won't be able to possibly be repaid just so they can control everybody and get away with it. Our ancestors in 1913 have allowed this, and it's been fucking doing nothing but getting worse ever since. To the point that our federal government, the great experiment in self-governing and balancing power, as per Montesquieu's prescriptions in order to try to make it so that you have a functional society. It's all gone. It's all fucking done. They pissed it away. Now the United States federal government is the strongest government that's ever existed in human history. It's not even the most oppressive, but it absolutely fucking could be, and it definitely will be once the stupid, worthless jokes that are the subhumans that are running it eventually just decide, oh, we're not going to even work with any pretense that you're able to do anything you want. We're going to control your life from cradle to grave, and that's just how it's going to work. That they took so awesome, and interesting and well thought out, well planned, and partially well executed an experiment into just not only fucking just destroyed it, fucking set it on fire, tore it apart, and then gave us now with what we have on leaving out the other end. They're not even done yet. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until all of the unfunded liabilities aggregated with the various kinds of debts and all of the weak people that don't know how to live their life for themselves, so they just rely on the government to do everything for them, and the whole thing will collapse, everybody will start fucking dying. And I don't know what's going to come out on the other side, but it probably will be just as worthless fucking as what we have now. Just not as big, not as powerful, not as quote-unquote well-organized. And that's fucking just what it is. The country, the society, the unity that could have been and that sort of once was is gone. It's fucking done. America is done. Now it's just counting down until the inevitable collapse, until the inevitable collapse, so that all of the people that are trying to control things now